meeting of the Zoning Board of Review. I'd like to take a roll call. Whoever's here, would you identify yourself for the record? Besides me, Lisa Gescheit. I'm sorry, George?
George L. Zabak.
Jennifer Hilton.
Dave Collins.
Joel Bishop.
Okay, so we have a quorum. Mike Marcello is our legal counsel who's present. Is there anybody else who's present who I haven't identified?
Court reporter here.
Oh, stenographer.
Is the recording a sufficient enough record or no?
I guess, yeah, I don't know if anybody contacted the stenographer, but they're not in the waiting room.
I have no idea who's in the waiting. I can barely get this up.
I don't see them, but if they want to raise their hand.
I don't see anyone as a attendee. That would be the stenographer.
Yeah, we'll just do it on the recording right now.
Okay.
Just you know, everyone try to talk when it's recognized by the chair, so we don't have a record speaking over one another, and we'll try to be clear like that. So it'll be easier for if we have to transcribe this to do it at a later date.
Okay. The first matter on our agenda tonight is a petition that's been filed by Donna Silveira, 35 Mount Hope Avenue, Plat 302, Lot 114, requesting a variance to Article 14, Section 4A, Article 5, Section 1, Article 1, Section 4A of the Zoning Ordinance. This property is located in an R40 residential zoning district and is a substandard lot of record. The applicant proposes to demolish the existing non-conforming 696 square foot, 1 3/4 story structure and build a new 1,620 square foot, 2-story non-conforming structure. The proposed front setback yard setback is 13 feet 8 inches, where 40 feet is required, and the proposed left side yard setback is 5 feet, where 25 feet is required. Is there someone here on behalf of the petitioner? I see you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Can you identify yourself for the record, please?
This is Donna Silveira, Donna M. Silveira, and I'm her husband, William.
Okay. Are you both, do you have an attorney? Are you represented by anyone?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll put you under oath if you both are going to testify.
Certainly.
Mike?
Yep, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please raise your right hand, please?
Raising hand.
Sorry. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony you're about to give the zoning board this evening?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I don't know who wants to speak first. So why don't you tell us what you'd like to do?
This property was Donna's grandmother's, so it's very nostalgic. It's, as you said, it's non-conforming to the laws of the setbacks and such. Right now, both on the left side, there's a house. Then behind the house, there's a outhouse and a shed. They're both probably about 30 inches from the boundary now. And then on the right side, we have a 12 by 23 foot garage, I think it is, and that's about 3 feet from that boundary. Setback we're requesting is we're trying to maintain the center of the yard. Since the buildings are all on the edges, we're trying to maintain the yard down the middle. And right now, I think our front setback is about 13.8. We have a little driveway there. We'd like to maintain that. We can't go back much further because even with the proposed plans that we have, the house will be 22 feet or so from the outhouse. And then with the proposed deck is almost 18 feet. That puts us within 4 feet of that existing structure. The house and the outhouse have been there for 80 plus years. When Donna's grandmother passed, her aunt inherited it and then sold it to us subsequently. We were renting it at the time. And we did a lot of work on the property. It originally had a one-story shed, 18 by 26, that Donna's grandfather ran a paint and glass business out of. In 97, 98 timeframe. I had been a carpenter, so I, through the town, got a permit and put a second floor on there. Because the house is so small, we used that shed space, the upper level for storage. And on the lower space, I had a wood workshop.
I discussed this with our attorney earlier today, and I don't know if we have the legal authority to grant your request. It basically says, Section 4 of Article 14 says, if a legal non-conforming structure as to use or otherwise not conforming to the provisions of this ordinance is demolished in any lawful manner, such structure shall not be rebuilt unless it conforms with all the provisions of this ordinance, which would be impossible because it's a substandard lot of record. I don't know how any other member of this board feels about this, but I don't think we have any authority to do anything. Apparently you have the ability to add on to what you've got by seeking a dimensional variance, but not knocking it down and starting all over again.
Okay.
I mean, I looked at this all day and I'm trying to figure out what the intent is of this ordinance. And it's very confusing to me.
So if I might be able to help a little bit.
Sure.
So we did, it's a very interesting application, and I appreciate the nostalgia, but it is your choice, I guess, to demolish the house. That's correct? That's what you plan on doing, and put a new house there.
Right, and the reason that we had planned to do that, the original structure was about 13 by 25 feet, which was just like a little kitchen in the back, a little living room up front, and 2 rooms upstairs, which isn't even really a bedroom, it's just open. Then in about the 50s, they added on a little bathroom and dining area on the right side of the house, which is it's only 1 floor there. And the building isn't built to any code. It's 80 plus years old, and it was a shed that was, a summer cottage that was located to that property like 80 years ago.
So the zoning board has to follow the code that's given, and so we looked at it today because again, it was a unique application. So Article 14 is a non-conforming development, and this is a non-conforming development because it's a substandard. You would have residential structure on a smaller lot than what you normally would in that zone, basically. And the Chairwoman did read, so it's Article 14, Section 4A. It says if a legal non-conforming structure as to use, and this is not a legal non-conforming structure as to use because it's a residential neighborhood and it's a residential zone, or otherwise not conforming to the provisions of this ordinance, is demolished in any lawful manner, such structure shall not be rebuilt unless it conforms with all provisions of this ordinance. So if you were to demolish the structure, then you would have to conform to all the requirements. I think this is an R40 zone. I think it's
Yes.
an R40. So you would have to, because you're demolishing it, the way that we read this ordinance is that if you demolish it, you've got to comply with all the requirements of an R40 zone. So there's not, and it's because you're demolishing it. However, under Section 5D, it gets a little confusing. I'm just, and I'm not, we're trying to help you, but we also think that you might have to consult with somebody, on this there's a way around this, but, and then Article 5D says a structure which is non-conforming by dimension, which this case it would be, only shall not be added or enlarged unless a dimensional variance is granted pursuant to the provisions and standards set forth in Article 17. However, a structure which is non-conforming by dimension, again, which this is, but which is conforming by use, which is, so it's doesn't fit the dimensional requirements, but it's a home, so you can have a home in an R40 zone, and which is used for a single family or two-family dwelling, which this is, right? It's a single family home,
Single, yeah.
may be added to or enlarged as of right if the requested building expansion is independent of the dimensional nonconformity. So it seems to suggest you're allowed to add on to this house and make it conforming, but you're not allowed to knock it down to start fresh.
We didn't write the law. We just
Yeah.
have to interpret, you know.
No, I get it.
So
But,
my-
I'll get
my-
an attorney and just discuss it.
my suggestion is if you want to, meet with the building official and the planning and zoning at some point, the zoning official at some point to figure out how to, if there's a way around this, but I would really think you need to consult an attorney because those are the provisions that we're at. And I don't think, as of this point, because you're demolishing that house, I read it that you have to conform to the zone once you demolish the house.
Yeah, which is impossible
Right.
based on the lot size.
Well, you'd be able to get, and that may be something that we discussed at another time, but right. So my suggestion to you, is to ask this board for a continuance to the next meeting, and give you some time to, confer with a lawyer to see if there's any wiggle room in this ordinance as to your intent to demolish the property. But I can't force you to do that, but that would be I think the best to preserve your rights to do so.
Should suggest give him couple meetings because,
It's up to him, whatever time he needs, yeah.
How much time you think you need to get a lawyer and have them review the issue? I mean, we
Well,
don't want to have you keep coming back every month if you're not ready to go forward, you know?
Not just a
understood.
lawyer, engineer too.
Yeah,
Gotta get
so
an
when-
engineer.
Right, for us to even have submitted to gone this far, RIDEM made us put a deed restriction on the property that it would be only a 2-bedroom structure until such time as the sewage came through. So we did that. So I do have a lawyer who's a real estate lawyer, and I can talk with the designer that had put together the proposed house dimensions and structure, and then see if there's something we can do.
Yeah, I've looked at the plans and it looks like you're gonna build a beautiful house if you're allowed to do so, but as we read the ordinance right now, you're not allowed to, and DEM has nothing to do with the zoning code. I
Understood. My point was that I did have a lawyer.
Yeah, that's good. So you got someone on board already, so that's a good idea.
Yes.
So I don't know how long it would take you to, have the lawyer look at this and, get back to us. Our next meeting would be in August, I believe. I don't know if that's enough time if you want to push it to September, but that's up to you.
Well, I'd at least like to get a continuance, because, I mean, how far ahead of time do we have to have something submitted to get on the agenda?
Well, because it's a continuance, we're just going to continue this matter to the next meeting. So there won't be any new advertising or anything like that. That's the beauty of continuing it, so.
But
Okay.
Any materials that we do get, we have to get, is it 10 days before
Yeah,
the,
10 days before. Yeah.
10
So if
days
it's something
before.
different, yeah.
All right, but if it's a continuance, it's not a requirement, right?
well, it's a
Right.
requirement that any written documents that your lawyer
Something new, yes.
would want us to
New.
consider, we need to get it 10 days before the hearing.
Okay,
So you're cutting yourself short by asking for a month. I mean, I don't know how anybody
Probably.
can get it together in 20 days,
yeah,
in the middle of summer.
And in the interim, if you want to ask for more time in the interim, have your lawyer call me directly, that's fine too, so we can talk about it. But he may read it differently, but I really don't see any wiggle room because of the demolishing part of this. So,
all right, I'm gonna write your name down while
Sure.
I got you here.
Troublemaker.com.
So, Mike, are you in the town hall?
I'm not, I'm there sometimes, but not all the time. So I'll give you my, how about this? We're on Zoom. I will, how about you send me an email? How about this? Can you,
Give me a phone number?
yeah, I don't want to give it on Zoom because I'll get thousands of calls.
Yeah, no
How about-
problem.
I think I have your number on the application. I'll call you tomorrow. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, well, thank you.
We're gonna take a vote to
Yeah.
accept
Can I vote to
the
continue the matter? Yeah.
Yes, all those in favor of granting a continuance, for what? You gonna talk, what date are
September.
we going to? September?
September.
Okay, the September meeting. All those in favor? George Alzabak,
Aye.
aye. Lisi Gashite, Aye. Dave? Aye. Jennifer?
Aye.
And Joel?
You
Joel?
guys gotta speak up because it's being recorded.
Sorry, I'm muted. Aye.
Is that agreeable for everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Why don't you come back for us? It's to be the first Wednesday in September.
Okay,
And make sure your lawyer gets whatever he or she wants us to consider before that meeting.
so do we send that to anyone in particular?
Well, it just goes to the zoning
goes to the
office.
town hall?
Yeah, and
They'll
they'll.
know what
forward
to
it
do.
us. Yeah,
Okay.
Good
okay.
luck. Good
Yes,
luck,
thank
sir.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Am I free to go or do I? stay
Yes.
for the
I
whole
know.
meeting?
You are free
Bye.
to go.
Okay, thank you. And that would be at the town hall then in September, presumably?
Right.
It
Yes.
should be an in-person meeting, yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I stopped video now, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Never done- This is my first time doing this. so-
trust me.
We'll kick you out.
You're not alone in being confused.
Okay, I'm gonna stop video now and mute.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
The next matter that's on the agenda is what's listed as a special use permit. A petition has been filed by John Kelly, 21 Parkside Drive, Providence, requesting a special use permit for 2423 Main Road rear, Plat 409, Lot 104, for the installation of a Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management and Coastal Resource Management Council approved septic systems to replace 5 existing cesspools to service 8 bedrooms. This property is located in an R80 residential zoning district, contains coastal features, and is in proximity to wetlands. The SUP is being applied for because the plan as proposed portrays the only locations the septic systems could be installed due to wetland soil conditions and pudding stone. Is there someone here on behalf of Mr. Kelly? Mr. Kelly, hi.
Hi, I've also got Mike Darvo, who's our land surveyor, I'm sorry, and JP Couture, who's the architect we've been working with.
Okay,
Can we let him in too, please?
yeah,
All right, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Darvino, and Mr. Couture, I assume you're all going to be giving testimony?
Yes,
I'm in Situate, Rhode Island. We're fighting a wicked thunderstorm right now, so my connection is not so great. But anyway, do you swear the testimony you're about to give to the zoning board this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes, yes.
The record will reflect that all witnesses responded in the affirmative. Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, I'm not quite sure why you're here or why you need to be here.
I agree with you, Madam Chair.
Not that it's not nice meeting you, but
This has been my contention for a while, and I can't seem to get it resolved. This is the former building official suggested we come here out of an abundance of caution. I don't know what that meant or anything else.
you know who it was?
Bill?
Nope, you're on mute. Sorry. We lost
I
you.
can't remember his name.
Is it Bill?
Bill,
I think it was Bill.
Bill Moore?
Is he the former one?
Yeah.
We have several former ones.
I know, that's the problem. I was dealing with a bunch of different people. It was the one before the building official today.
Bill Moore.
Yeah, we did speak to Bill Moore today on your application, and he, to be honest with you, he did not have any recollection on this. So, he thinks it was he thinks it was someone who predates him, but I don't know. But whatever.
Could have been. I don't
Could
think
have
it
been
was.
Felix.
We
Could have
went,
been Felix.
and we also asked to have our lawyer meet with Mr. Marcello because we just didn't understand why we had to go through with this.
Well, I tend to agree with you.
Do we
Okay.
have to even hear it? Or can we just?
No, I don't think you're not asking for any relief that we can give you. So, I mean, DEM and Coastal Resources Management is preempted
Right.
zoning as far as this is concerned.
So,
Setback.
let me just put this on the record. Yeah, so that's my concern. So I initially, when I saw your application, Mr. Kelly, I thought maybe there was a setback requirement that you needed dimensional relief for, but it doesn't appear to be so at all.
No.
And so that's when I looked at your application, you had a setback issue, but it doesn't appear that you have a setback issue. A special use permit really doesn't fit this category of development. a special use permit would be required, I just want to make this clear, if you are expanding the footprint of those cabins, but it doesn't appear that you're doing that either. Is that correct?
Correct. At this point, we're not, no.
Okay, so that's an important thing to have on the record. So a special use permit would be required if you, because it's a non-conforming, you have basically five cabins on one lot. If you were to expand those, then that would be an expansion of a non-conforming use. You don't appear to be doing that. The only thing you appear to be doing is filling in pre-existing cesspools and replacing it and tying all the cabins together with a common septic system, correct?
Correct.
And I don't, and unless the board has other questions, I don't see that this board has any jurisdiction to, there's no relief. Sorry, there is no relief that he's required to get before the zoning board based upon any of the setbacks or the special use permit. Now, did you need a letter from the town at some point?
Yes, I need a letter from the town saying they'll allow me to put the system in, once CR gives its final approval.
Okay. And that will come from the building official, I assume.
Yes, and that's when this all started.
If I may, with that letter, the CRMC letter, excuse me. The CRMC letter is in a building official's letter that states that all the zoning requirements have been met, and that if there are variances required, they have, or special use allowances required, that has been granted.
Okay, but in this case, I don't see any.
Can I ask a question? When did you mail this? When did this was application filled and mailed? Like what? Like last month before, 2 months ago?
Back in April.
How did that go through?
I don't know.
Cost this gentleman all this money.
I don't know.
That's crazy. Okay.
So, Mr. Kelly, if you'll have, it's up to the board, but if you'll have your lawyer contact me or your engineer, we'll make sure you get that letter. Unless the board has any other questions, I don't see that.
No, somebody's phone.
Unless the board has any other questions, he doesn't need a dimensional variance. He doesn't need any setback requirements. DEM has approved this. CRMC is waiting approval from the town. Is not expanding. He swore on oath that he's not expanding the footprints of any of these buildings. I just don't see how we have any jurisdiction over this whatsoever. I think you conform to the zone as now, is because you're not really expanding anything. And frankly, you're improving the quality of the potential runoff into that river by putting this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good night.
I'm sorry that you had to go through this aggravation,
Well, at least it's done.
but you got good news.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Kelly,
Nice to meet you.
Nice
good luck,
meeting you.
Mr. Kelly. So if you have your lawyer call me, I'll make sure the building official gives you that letter. Whatever whatever CRMC requires, we'll make sure that you get.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Thank
bye. Okay, the last matter that's on the agenda is a petition that's been filed by Kimberly Cassidy of 182 Connecticut Street, Plat 101, Lot 212, requesting a variance to Article 5, Section 1, Article 7, Section 4 of the Zoning Ordinance. This property is located in an R30 residential zoning district and is a substandard lot of record. The applicant proposes to build a 6-foot by 36-foot non-conforming expansion of the existing deck. The proposed front yard setback is 12 feet 2 inches, where 30 feet is required, and the proposed left side yard setback is 4 feet 7 inches, where 20 feet is required. And is there someone here on behalf of the petitioner? Court, hi.
Hi, how are you? I am here on behalf of the petitioners, and I see both of them in the screen here.
Yes.
They're still on mute, though, I believe.
Okay.
The court, unfortunately, you do belong before the zoning board for this dimensional variance.
Well, and it is a substandard lot of record, so when you apply the formulas, it's not the full relief, it's actually less relief, but it doesn't change how far we are trying to get from the actual setbacks. But it does slightly change the size of the relief, because as you know, your zoning ordinance says when you're a substandard lot of records, as to the side yard requirements, you can multiply it by the percentage that the lot is smaller than the 30,000 square foot zone. And that would take it down to like a 7.72 foot by right. But it's still at, because it's at the 4 foot distance, it would still require it. So does the board have the drawings, and can they be brought up so I can walk you through the process and then we can swear in the applicants?
I don't think we have the ability to pull them up.
All right,
We have the drawing though. We have the application.
all right.
on
I have my
drawing.
tech guy here, so I'm gonna try to do it. Is that a shared screen now?
Is that your son?
At some point during a test, it would be helpful to have you apply the proportional variance that we need, because I want to just make sure the record reflects that.
Okay. Where is that?
And do it really slow because I'm not very good in math.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so you want to pull that? Okay. So this, let's start with, all of this is pre-existing except what the applicants plan to put on, which is a deck that is 6 foot wide and 36 feet long. And if I have Matt here, shares the screen.
Wow.
You see that yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I have my tech guy here, but this is the existing structure. And if you see at the top of that where it says proposed 6 foot wide deck, the house already exists and it is already currently 10 feet from the sideline. When you put on a 6 foot deck, it would only be 4.9 feet from the sideline. The pool already exists and the existing deck already exists. So the purpose for this, and I'll have them testify. Can you give me the layout of the house, Matt? I'm going to show you the layout of the house, and notice where that existing deck is. Now, they did not build this. They did not cause this. This was there when purchased. But this is the interior of the house. And if you look at the existing deck, you'll see that the only access to the existing deck is through their bedroom. Now, unfortunately, this was all planned for a wedding they were having, and it was trying to be built for that wedding. And when we missed the last meeting, we didn't make it, but it still was filed, and it's still a plan that they'd like to do. Rather than have all their guests come through the existing bedroom, they would like to be able to access that deck from the house by going on this proposed deck off the living room. And the most logical thing you would suggest is, why don't I take a door right out of the living room onto the existing deck, and then we would not have to increase it. And you'll see a chimney there, and I'll show you pictures of it. And because of the chimney and the cement and the framing and headers, there's no room to put a door on either side. Where the sliding door is proposed off the living room is currently a bay window. And I'll ask you to remember that, and I'll show you pictures there. So logically, oh, there's the bay window. So if we take that bay window out and put in a slider, that's the logical place. Can you take me into the living room now? That's the logical place off the living room to try to tie this together. If we go into the living room, you'll see that that fireplace is what's currently against the deck. And with the headers and the structure of the house, we can't get a door to the left or right of that fireplace, which is why we believe the least relief necessary is to come off the living room so that the deck, which ties to their pool, has access from living space other than marching everybody, which was supposed to be weddings and wedding parties, through their bedroom. It does, other than the side yard setback, it doesn't create any lot coverage issues. It doesn't create any other issues with the lot. It just merely would encroach further.
Is this going to be like an elevated deck?
I'll show you the elevations. Right now, the deck, if you go back to the picture, go back to the picture of the outside of the house that we just showed right there. Do you see the pool and the existing deck and the size of it? And the height of it, you'll see that that deck is already approximately 6 feet off the ground.
Okay.
And you'll see that those bay windows have the little cornices that hold it. Those cornices are basically the floor of the first floor. So when this deck gets put on that side, it is elevated above what it is currently impervious driveway. So there's already kind of some type of development in that area.
Uh-huh.
But it is elevated and it's designed to be about the same step as the deck. There's actually going to be one step down from the new deck, which is at the floor, the living space floor, to tie it into the existing deck. And you can see where we've drawn that step on the proposed deck area on the left-hand side of your picture. So basically, it's just to get out to the living room. It's 6 feet wide just to make it safe, not wide enough for a table or necessarily some entertainment on that side. So the effect on the neighborhoods on the existing deck, it'll still be on the existing deck, whatever entertaining and those things are done. It'll just be able to walk into the kitchen instead of through the bedroom or out around the yard to get to the deck to do it. Now, normally in a R30 zone, the side yard setback is 15 feet. But because you are allowed under our zoning ordinance to it's 20 feet, to multiply, to calculate the percentage that the lot is smaller than the zone. So this particular lot is 10,890 feet, supposed to be 30,000 feet, and that calculates to 0.363% or 36% smaller. So you're allowed to take the setback of 20 feet, multiply it by the 0.363, and that would get you a reduction of 7.26 feet. So we are asking for less than that. I think if you argue exact least relief necessary, you may say by code, I think I need to have that 4 foot wide to get out that slider to the back, and we're going 6. There's already a driveway underneath it. We believe it's safer at 6 feet than 4 feet to be able to turn out the door because it requires a right angle there. There's already a fence that runs along the property line. You can see from the yard there, this is taken from a Google Earth, that although it's the neighbor's lot next door, there's nothing there close that we're really encroaching on. There's not a pre-existing building there. And it just allows us to get it out a little safer around the corner. And it's just a practical use to tie in the existing deck and the backyard recreational area to what I call a recreational portion of the house instead of the bedroom. So ultimately, the relief is to grant this to be 4.5 feet at its closest point to the property line instead of the 7.26 feet. That is the amount it could be with the reduction formula applied, and the 10 or 14 feet that it currently is.
Court,
Can I say
I
something?
just have a quick question.
Okay.
Sure.
Go
Court,
ahead,
just
Mark.
quick- So, sorry, you take the 7.6 feet off the 20 feet, correct? The 20 feet is.
I think you take the 7.6 off the 20, which would take it down to 13.7,
15.
and then goes
Yeah.
to 4.5. So it's the difference between those two numbers.
Okay.
Some towns want just to know eventually how many feet you are going to be away, and some towns want to know, can I have the number of feet that I'm seeking as a variance? I can do the math either way. But if it's 20 feet and you subtract the 7.26, it's going to give you 12.84, right? 12.74. So it's a 12.74 foot variance to allow this to be 4.5 feet away from the property line.
Thank you. I'm going to clarify that.
George, did you have a question?
Actually, I'll wait until I'll wait. It was answered. I appreciate it. I'll go later.
So
I guess-
I thought it might be helpful to go over it first, but if you swear in I think either one of the petitioners, I can ask them questions and try to get the answers on the record for the board and certainly allow them to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, Mike, you want to do it?
Take, take the, screen down.
Can I get them back so I can see them?
Yes.
I think they're there. Right.
Can you see me? Can you guys see me?
Yeah, we can see you now.
Sorry. All right, sorry about that. Whoop. I just lost you for a second. Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony you're about to give the zoning board this evening?
I do.
I do.
Can you please just state each individually state your name for the record, please?
Kimberly Cassidy / Texera. I just got married the other day, so.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Justin Texera.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Right.
Go ahead.
We apologize for the noise. We're kind of on a little mini moon away with our son. So
All right.
You're spending it at the zoning board. How romantic.
absolutely.
I
At least
crashed.
the drink's over.
I crashed their wedding party when I went to look at the property.
Right.
Wedding crasher.
That's all right.
All right. Guys, you are the owners of the house?
That's correct.
Okay. And I've shown the pictures that you've seen as to the existing structure of the house as well as the existing deck. Is that right?
Yes.
And we've represented in those pictures that the only access from the house to the existing deck was through your bedroom.
That's correct.
Okay. And the purpose of this extension of the deck, if you will, is so that you could enter it from the living space, specifically the living room. Is that right?
That's correct.
And we did explore whether it could be entered through the living room on the side of the living room that abuts the deck, which is where your fireplace is. Is that right?
That's correct.
And based on the structure of that wall and the fireplace, absent removing your fireplace and taking your chimney out, you could not get access from the living room by going to either side. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And by proposing it through the area where you proposed it, it draws itself a little bit because there's a bay window on that wall. Is that right?
That's correct.
And the purpose is to use the house framing of the header of the bay window and to put in a slider and to enter there. Is that right?
Exactly.
Right now you have room, if you will, to go 10 or 12 feet out in that direction, but this is only really being done for a walkway to tie into the existing deck and not to entertain off the side of the living room closer than your neighbor's lot. Is that right?
That's correct.
And this will allow you to get out the door and turn appropriately, walk down. Is it one step, one or two steps to tie
It
the
would
two
be
decks
1 or 2
together?
steps.
Yeah, I think it's about 2 steps. The measurement is roughly 18 inches higher. So there'll be 6 inches out onto the deck and another 12 inches that'll be made up of 2 6-inch steps to meet the existing height of the deck.
And you've seen the picture I've put up that shows that there's basically that large grass area on that side of the house. So luckily there's no structure there that is also in that area close to the property line, which makes these two areas closer together than in a lot of places, right?
Correct.
And you didn't cause this. This isn't something you did. Is that right? You purchased this house as is approximately 11 years ago?
I did.
Because one of the standards is that it's the least relief necessary, but also that the hardship is not self-inflicted. You understand what I mean by that?
I do.
And do you feel this house, other than this proposed deck, is compatible with the neighborhood it already fits in? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
And do you believe that adding this walkway or deck, even though it's going to be closer to the property line, will change the general character of the surrounding neighborhood?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And one of the standards is that to deny the relief would be more than a mere inconvenience. So do you find it a major inconvenience to have to entertain on your deck through your bedroom?
Yes, definitely.
And would you consider it more than a mere inconvenience to have to tear out the chimney and one of the nicer functions of your living room in order to tie in that deck?
Yes.
And the only way to do that is to wrap it around from this direction And you believe that 6 foot is minimum to make a safe transition to this area, is that right?
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, sir.
I believe that's all I have unless the board has questions of them.
Any member of the board have any questions?
No.
Okay, we'll now go into our deliberations. Anybody have a problem with
Public
this?
hearing.
Sorry?
Lisa, you gotta ask if there's public comment.
Oh, yeah, I'm
for or
sorry.
against the application.
Is there anybody out there that wants to be heard? Anybody wants to question the witness?
So, is
guess-
Andrew, is anybody in the waiting room?
There's 2 people, but they don't have their hands raised.
So for those people who are in the waiting room, if you'd like to give testimony either for or against this application, could you please raise your hand in Zoom? And you'll be recognized. And anything, Andrew?
No, there's nothing.
Okay,
There's nobody in Zoom that would like to comment.
So can I start?
yeah,
All right, so I went and visited the property, and I don't have any problem with it for the fact that the driveway is already there. It's
Right.
not like they're pouring new pad, we added new cover the lawn. It's already there. 1, 2, honestly, even if they don't want to even say it one way or the other, adding that deck to that side of the house will add the value of the house, just matter the view. If you stand on that side of the house and look over the bay, that deck will add value to that house, and it makes it like almost necessary. Then if you walk around and see where that deck comes through the bedroom, it makes absolutely no sense. And this is really the only solution. If you walked around that property, the only solution for them to somehow come out of that living room and have it like a normal deck to be used normally. I don't know how whoever built it made any sense before or was even approved. So this is, I have absolutely no problem with it. The fact is everything is there, everything already covered. All they're doing is just giving themselves some convenience to get in and out of the house to the deck and a pool.
Jennifer?
If nothing else, it's a safety measure too. It gives them another form of egress. So I'm completely in agreement with it.
Dave?
I agree. I don't have a problem with this. I would like to make a comment on the site plan. I don't know if it matters or not, but there is a minor error on it in that where it lists the building setbacks, they make an adjustment to the front setback. And I want to make it clear that we don't do that. We're not going to be making an adjustment to the, I'm wondering if this should be deleted from the drawing, or do you see where it is? It's on the right-hand side in the middle of the site plan. It shows lot width.
I agree, we don't adjust the front, and that was done by the engineer, and it is on the plan. But I
And
think we could note that it only applies to the side and rear. And it's not applicable here to the rear, but
either that or we just update the drawing by deleting that. I don't know which is easier, but
I don't know if Mike has an opinion. I certainly have. I certainly can come strike that line in initial, and we can put into the decision that the applicant was instructed to initial and strike that on the initial map, on the original map that's in the record. That helps.
I'm okay with that if the board is okay. That's fine.
yeah.
Let's just have it in.
Joel?
No, I have no problem with it at all.
Okay, I don't have a problem with it either. So,
David, make a motion.
want me to make the motion? I'll make the motion.
Go for it.
Well, I think the evidence has shown that the applicants own the house. It's in an R30 zone. They bought the house as is indicated on the plan. The only access to the pool is through their bedroom, which is not very conducive to sleeping or entertaining. They want to be able to put a deck that joins their back deck for egress out of the house from their living room. There's no other place to put it because of the location of the fireplace. And they're proposing to replace what's a bay window with a sliding door and a deck that is going to be above a driveway. So there's no increase to the impervious surface. None of this was self-imposed. They bought the house as it is, and there is a hardship because of the special conditions and circumstances which are peculiar to the structure that are not applicable to other structures in the same zoning district and not due to a physical or economic disability of the applicant. That the relief will not be contrary to the public interest. In fact, it would be, I think, favor the public interest in that it's providing another egress from the house to the outside, and that the hardship was not occasioned by anything that these folks did, and that it will not alter that the variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent of the zoning ordinance. And the board will grant, what was it? What was the number?
7 point.
7.2.
12.74, resulting in the deck being 4.5 feet from the property line.
Okay. So incorporating that, and that it would be the least relief that would be necessary to, for this to be a safe deck. And I think that's it, right?
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Do a roll call for the record, please.
Roll call for the record. George?
Aye.
Lisi? Yes. Dave?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
And Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone, as always. Nice to see you. I'm looking forward to
Congratulations.
seeing you live next month.
Yeah, hope so.
I have an
Congratulations.
appreciation for your consideration of safety as a firefighter. It means a lot as well.
Oh, I didn't know you were a firefighter. Well, good. That's good to know. Well,
Thank
I
you.
I
Good
should
luck
have
with
thrown
the
that in.
and good luck in your marriage.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Sorry I crashed your party.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Anybody's
Okay.
welcome.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks again.
Okay, we do have a couple of administrative matters that I wanted to mention. Mike, myself and Julie worked very hard on amending our rules of procedure and redoing our forms, which our present staff can't seem to locate in the computer. So obviously we're gonna have to defer that until we get a hold of Julie and find out where they are, where these things are, so we can send them to you for your review. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to do that for the next meeting.
I have a question too about that. I'm not sure. I'm going to ask Mike about it. Probably this form will get that cover letter that we always get in mail. Is any way we could put the petitioner phone number on this, or we can't do that?
It's not a good idea. It's a public record. People will get crank calls. We gotta protect their privacy.
Wait, but isn't there phone number on the application?
Yes.
It is, but that gets, the application doesn't get posted online, that the agenda does.
Oh, this gets posted online? All right, because we don't always get the agenda. We have to go pick it up and all that. Okay, no problem.
We've had to, obviously, it's been a problem with the turnover and the,
They're doing their best. That's fine.
yeah.
So just so the update, so as of, I think, this month, July 23rd, the executive order on in-person meetings is over. We thought that for a time period, the legislature was going to pass a law that would still require members of boards and commissions to meet in person, but also allow the public to still Zoom in if they wanted to, but that law did not pass. So as of right now, unless something changes, everything will be in person, and no one is allowed even
Hallelujah
by Zoom. So
Okay, great.
Hallelujah.
Jen, you were going to say something.
Jenny, I meant to interrupt you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you tell us who our officials are now?
I can't.
I'm sure Michael can.
John Hoyle is the building official.
How is it pronounced?
Hoyle, Hoyle, I believe.
He's very nice.
And he probably didn't know that he probably should be attending this meeting, but we didn't probably tell him. So that's
I hope he sticks around for a little bit.
And then the zoning officer, I believe, is the same person, Joe. I don't know his last name. Joe. Can't think of his last name.
Who's our new admin? She's lovely.
I think there are two of them. One is Priscilla and one is Capri.
Yeah, Capri is the planning person, and Priscilla is the zoning building clerk. Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, they still did fine. We get the application was all put together nicely. I didn't.
Yeah, no, it's they're learning. They're learning.
Sorry, Lisa. And I did want the board to know that the Northborough decision was appealed, so that we'll be in Superior Court on the Northborough decision that you guys ruled. That was the major sub, the minor major with the DEM. We'll finally get an answer on that one way or the other.
Okay. Any other administrative matters?
No.
Seeing none? I move to adjourn.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.